Hi, we're here at the Manchester Museum in the zoology stalls behind the scenes, and I'm here with Henry McGhie, the head of collections. He's going to tell us about a really interesting object. So what have you got to show us, Henry?
Okay, David, so what I've brought today is this fantastically beautiful shell, which has this fantastic kind of pattern of triangles on it. And this is a shell called a cone shell. This one's particularly interesting because you might be able to see these little black marks on the side of the shell.
Yeah.
And these are actually tar from when the shell was found. So this shell dates from the late 19th century, at a time when Britain was actually physically linked to India by a cable, a physical cable.
Okay.
And this cable went across the Arabian Sea and had a great big thick metal cable and was insulated with a very thick coat of tar. And so periodically people were paid to kind of hoik it up from the floor of the sea, and it would be encrusted with things which had got stuck to the tar. And this shell is one of the things that got stuck to it.
So why would they live on the cable then?
They just got stuck to it.
Oh, I see, right.
So the cable's there a bit like a trap.
Yeah.
Some big snail this is a big snail basically, has wandered past and probably got stuck to the cable. And the animal's gone because things would have eaten it, crabs and things. And this is a particularly interesting shell as an individual shell, because this and another shell were the first of their kind ever found.
Oh wow.
So these were given a new scientific name by somebody who worked here in the museum, Robert Spandon, and somebody else with a fantastic name of James Cosmo Melville, who was a local industrialist and
Right.
kind of fanatical shell and plant collector.
So how did it make it back to the museum from this cable?
So as you can see a label here that says this is from the Townsend collection, and this is a chap called Fred Townsend who was in the merchant navy, and he was paid one of his jobs was to dredge this cable up from the floor of the Persian Gulf, 45 fathoms.
Fantastic.
What's that, 6 feet in a fathom, telegraph cable, and then he would have probably been paid by Cosmo Melville for these shells.
Yeah.
So we have quite a lot of shells from him, probably several hundred, couple of thousand specimens, which are really really interesting. Lots of beautiful ones like this. So this one is very important in the museum. This is one of the most important functions of museums, is to keep these kind of very scientifically important individual specimens. So because this shell, as I mentioned, is one of the two on which a new scientific name was found, was based. So the way I kind of always imagine this is, this shell is a definition of that name.
Right.
So if, in the same way as you can think a word in a dictionary is defined by other words,
Yeah.
if I lost this shell or if it got broken and smashed or something, it's a bit like rubbing out a definition in a dictionary.
Yeah.
All you're left with is a kind of two-word scientific name that doesn't mean anything. So they're very important for science, like the foundation for biodiversity, really.
So why are there two rather than just one?
The way people describe new species now, they usually select an individual specimen, and there might be some others that go with it. But at that time people did it differently. They just would have, they would say, I got 2 shells, or I got 6 shells, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And they'd say, I think they're different from anything else. Here's a description for them. I think they're a new species, and I'm going to call it such and such.
Right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.